If you've spent any sort of time learning about Taoism, you have surely heard at least something about Wu Wei. Wu Wei is one of the most important concepts in Taoism, but is also heavily misunderstood. In this video, I want to explain what Wu Wei is, and then give you some tools to harness it in your life. And when you do, you will be shocked just how much more you are able to do. Wu Wei is a concept heavily ingrained in Taoist philosophy. It means effortless action, or doing by the act of non-doing. This is not to be confused with laziness or inaction. Wu Wei is simply the ability to set aside what we think we should do, and leave ourselves open to the best course of action through our intuition. When we do this, we may be guided to wait before acting, to act in a way that seems to make no sense, or even to not act at all. Wu Wei is often referred to as non-action, because it involves ceasing our own self-appointed struggle for mastery of our situation so that we can act according to intuition instead. We make ourselves soft and still so that we can hear intuition and respond to it. Thus, even great obstacles are overcome not with force or plans or agendas, but by openness, softness, and responsiveness to intuition. This is described in chapter 44 of the Tao Te Ching. The softest thing in the universe overcomes the hardest thing in the universe. That without substance can enter where there is no room. Hence, I know the value of non-action. Teaching without words and work without doing are understood by very few. So now for the tips. Most people are not used to listening to or acting on intuition, and so this concept can often seem pretty nebulous and abstract. Well, there's no one perfect tip I can give you that will make you instantly able to master this skill, but I can give you a few pointers that might help. Although most people are not used to following intuition on a daily basis, almost everyone has experienced a gut feeling that they couldn't explain. Have you ever had a sort of hunch that you chose to follow and it ended up being right? A large part of Wu Wei is learning to identify and act on these hunches and urges. These urges are different from just wanting to do something, or urges like the urge to sleep or eat. These are a particular kind of thing. Often they will come as no more than a thought, which is usually accompanied by a feeling of rightness or goodness. You can't explain it, you just feel like you ought to do that thing. When you feel these urges, follow them as promptly as you can. Doing this repeatedly will allow you to receive more of them, and will give you more practice at identifying them. Perhaps you will feel an urge to call a friend, to do a task, let a certain situation be, or stop a certain behavior. Again, you will know these thoughts because they will usually be accompanied by a soft feeling of just being somehow right. They will also be extremely easy to ignore if you choose to do so, and the more you ignore them, the less often they will come, until you make up your mind to really dedicating yourself to following them. This is where the part about putting aside our own desires comes in. Wu Wei will often gently nudge us to do things that we don't want to do. We will feel that we need to do a particular thing, but may desire to do a different thing. It may seem illogical or inconvenient. Perhaps we are intent on pursuing a promotion at work, but will have the feeling to abstain. Maybe we will have a desire to do our shopping at one store, but have a feeling to go to a different one instead. These urges may seem trivial, but they always have a purpose, even if it's not immediately discernible. Wu Wei also becomes a lot easier when we can identify the futility of endlessly chasing after the things that most people see as important. If we are able to separate ourselves from the need for money, power, and attention from others, we will be more able to respond to the pushes and pulls of Wu Wei, because we will be free from the chains of desire that bind most people. Whatever you cannot live without controls you. You are only as virtuous, as kind, or as effective as the thing you think you need is available. If it stops being available, all bets are off. Intuition cannot guide us if we live this way. Therefore, a state of lack, or a state of determination to get what is wanted, is incompatible with Wu Wei. Our ability to utilize Wu Wei increases as we continue to let go of these things. We become more free as we do so. We do this not with ulterior motives, but because it is the only sensible thing to do. Think about, for example, how futile the pursuit of money and possessions is. Consider how ridiculous it is for us to call things our own. The reality is that nothing is really ours at all. There is nothing we have that cannot be taken from us at a moment's notice without our consent. This is true of our money, our time, our possessions, our health, our bodies, our loved ones, even our lives. To call these things ours is to lay an arbitrary claim that we can neither justify nor reliably enforce. All things that we call ours are simply loaned us by the Tao, to use, but not to hold on to. We are like actors in a play, who are loaned various props to enable us to play our parts. There is simply no reason for us to go to great pains to amass extra props. They will not help us, nor will they make us happy. All the props we need to play our part will be loaned to us. Trying to get extra is a fool's errand. Doing so will cause us not only to waste our time and energy, but can cause us to miss the chance to play our part because we are so busy gathering extra props. It is extremely difficult to hear and respond to the subtle pushes and pulls of the universe among the clamor of our own unmitigated desires. Hence the Taoist teaching of mastering our desires. Wu Wei takes a lot of practice to master, but if you can get it down, the changes to your life will speak for themselves. If this kind of thing interests you, I'd like to invite you to come join my Discord. It's a great little community, and it's an excellent place to come if you're looking for help getting started with Taoism, or just want to talk more about it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for Chapter 44. Peace and blessings.